There was no Phillies baseball yesterday on Thursday as the Phillies were traveling to Texas to begin a 3-game road series against the Texas Rangers, beginning tonight, Friday night, over the weekend, and the start of a 10-game road trip. Very long, very lengthy. Christopher Sanchez on the mound tonight to kick off this 3-game series down there in Texas. Now, there was no Phillies baseball yesterday, but there was Philadelphia Eagles football. The defending Super Bowl champs had their first preseason game. A lot of backups, obviously, but it's great that football is back. They did pick up the win over the Cincinnati Bengals, but we are not here to talk about the Eagles. We're here to talk about the Phillies. So welcome in to Phillies Daily, everybody. I'm your host, Mike Henley. Make sure you guys subscribe for more Phillies content right here on Phillies Daily. We'll jump right into the National League MVP odds because our guy, Kyle Schwarber, the Schwarbarian, he's right up there, number 2 in the National League on most betting sites. The 3 major betting platforms have him at number 2 behind Los Angeles Dodgers superstar Shohei Ohtani. On FanDuel, Shohei Ohtani is the heavy betting favorite to win the National League MVP award at minus 1450. Kyle Schwarber, number 2, at plus 850. So a pretty large gap right there in the betting odds. DraftKings a little bit closer. Ohtani minus 1,000. Schwarber plus 550. And then BetMGM even closer. Shohei Ohtani minus 750. Kyle Schwarber plus 550, just like on DraftKings. Now, Ohtani, obviously, year in, year out, he is an MVP candidate right at the top of the list. He already has a couple MVPs, both in the American League, now in the National League, throughout his major league career since coming over from Japan. He is a phenom. He hits well. He pitches. Does it all. Right now for the Dodgers, did it before for the Los Angeles Angels. But honestly, these odds are too far away, in my opinion, too big of a gap because Kyle Schwarber has better numbers in some categories, and the categories that he doesn't have better numbers than Ohtani this year in 2025, they're very similar numbers. So to have, especially on FanDuel, minus 1450 and Schwarber at plus 850 is crazy to me. Kyle Schwarber is batting 256 with a 379 on base, 585 slugging percentage, 964 OPS. He has 17 doubles, 1 triple, 40 home runs, 94 RBIs, 75 walks, and 10 stolen bases here in 2025 so far as we are entering action here August 8th. Shohei Ohtani with the Dodgers, better batting average at 276, slightly better on base at 381, better slugging at 606, better OPS 987, 2 less doubles with 15, more triples with 7, 1 less home run at 39, 19 less RBIs, just about 20 less RBIs than Schwarber with 75, 2 less walks at 73, and he has a handful of more stolen bases with 16. Now he does also pitch, which helps him in these odds and all that fun stuff. This year in 2025, he did miss the beginning of the season pitching because of an injury, but he has been pitching as of late. He's 0-0 so far in 2025 with a 2.37 ERA, 25 strikeouts, and only 19 innings pitched. He has 8 starts, so not a lot of pitching under his belt in 2025, but still pretty solid when he's there on the mound for the Dodgers, and obviously very good at the plate. Still, Kyle Schwarber, the odds should be a lot closer, but he is there, number 2 on most betting sites for the National League MVP award. Maybe these last 2 months of the regular season, he can continue his dominance at the plate, keep hitting bombs there into the outfield, 4 home runs, piling up those RBIs, keeping that average afloat. And who knows, maybe Kyle Schwarber jumps Shohei Ohtani and wins his first career MVP award here with the Philadelphia Phillies in 2025. Now going back to Tuesday, some news broke out with Jose Alvarado returning to the Phillies clubhouse. He hasn't been there since May when he was suspended for performance-enhancing drugs, reportedly took a weight loss supplement in the offseason, on the Major League Baseball banned list for PEDs. So 80-game suspension, playoff ineligibility here in 2025. He did, as I said, return to the clubhouse on Tuesday. Can't return to action with the Phillies until August 19th, so still a week or so away from that date. He did address his teammates and coaches, apologized to them, issued an apology on social media for the public to see again, apologizing to his teammates, coaches, the organization, fans, the city of Philadelphia. He did throw a bullpen session at Citizens Bank Park on Tuesday. Phillies manager Rob Thompson did say that he looked really good, great command, the velocity was there. So he has been pitching. He did go back home to Venezuela, where he's from, while he was serving this suspension. He was reportedly throwing bullpens. He was reportedly facing batters. So that all was still there. He was working. He wants to get back and help the Phillies reach the playoffs, even though he can't pitch in the playoffs, but he wants to help them win, and he wants to prove himself to the fan base and really just apologize again with his performance on the field for missing most of this season because of performance-enhancing drugs. He isn't eligible to return to the Phillies until August 19th, but he is eligible to begin a rehab assignment to ramp up himself, get back into the swing of things, get back to facing live hitters in game action. So he's likely going to begin a rehab assignment down in the minors to do all of that fun stuff. Now, he is a hard thrower, we all know. He has that nasty cutter. That sinker can reach triple digits. When he's going good, he's one of the best relievers in all of Major League Baseball. But he has struggled with command issues, as we also all know, throughout his Major League career. And when he's going through those rough stretches, he is just sometimes unbearable to watch out of the Phillies bullpen. But when he's going good, again, one of the best relievers in Major League Baseball, reached triple digits, that nasty cutter. And between him and now Joan Duran at the back end of the Phillies bullpen, that is going to be a scary duo, a scary thought for opposing offenses here when he is eligible to return for the Phillies for these last 2 months of the regular season. Should be closing out games dominant there in the back end of the Phillies bullpen between those two. It's going to be fun to watch. Unfortunately, we can't watch it in the playoffs this year. Just Duran, no Alvarado with that suspension still carrying over into the playoffs. But it will be fun to watch to close out this season when he is able to return to the Phillies bullpen. Sticking with pitching, this time starting pitching down in the minor leagues, Andrew Painter, the Phillies' #1 prospect, one of the top prospects in all of Major League Baseball, made his most recent start on Tuesday as well. Not very good. He did take some steps forward recently, but Tuesday was a step back in the rehab and the development of Andrew Painter. Roller coaster season, really, all of 2025, as he's coming back from Tommy John surgery, which held him out of game action for 2 years. Pitching action, in-game action. Tough to come back for a long injury to rehab from. Andrew Painter is 3-4 with a 4.88 ERA through 15 starts in AAA with the Lehigh Valley Iron Pigs in 2025. He also made 4 starts in Single A before starting back up at AAA. But 4.88 ERA has had command issues too, letting up way too many home runs, too many walks. Again, it's hard to come back from Tommy John surgery. Every pitcher comes back at their own pace. They all struggle at times before they find their groove and get back to where they were before. It's even harder when you're a young kid like Andrew Painter, coming back, still developing as a player, has yet to pitch in the major league level. So still developing, as I said, as a pitcher down in the minor leagues. And now you have to rehab from this major injury. He did have 2 very good starts before his start on Tuesday. But unfortunately, again, a step back on Tuesday. He went 4 innings for the Iron Pigs, 5 hits, 4 walks, way too many walks there in just 4 innings, 5 earned runs. He did have 4 strikeouts in those 4 innings, but he did pick up the loss. Again, 4 walks and 5 earned runs. He was originally expected to make his Major League debut sometime this July. Obviously, that has passed now with it being August 8th. In my opinion, with his struggles, with his command issues, and with the Phillies starting rotation, one of the best in Major League Baseball, and Aaron Nola nearing a return to the starting rotation as well, I would say just keep Andrew Painter down in AAA for the remainder of the 2025 season, and then let him figure things out to close out the season, have a full off season healthy, and then get back trying to make the big league roster to start 2026 in spring training. Who knows what they'll do. Obviously, they could bring him up here for the last 2 months this season. Still, I don't think they should, and I also don't think they should bring him in for the playoffs, like a lot of rumors have been saying that as well for the bullpen. Just keep him down in AAA. Let him keep developing. Let him build some confidence and go into 2026 strong. Speaking of minor leagues and the future, the catching position is going to be something to keep an eye on as we get closer to the offseason. Obviously, JT Realmuto has been here, and the Phillies starting catcher, one of the best catchers in baseball throughout his Phillies tenure since 2019. JT Realmuto is going to be a free agent after this season in 2025. He is getting up there in age. He's 34 years old. He's going to be 35 to start the 2026 season. When you're a catcher, That's a tough position to play on your body with your knees and all that stuff. As you see, a lot of guys transition to first base and designated hitter now, with it being in both the American League and National League for catchers as they get up there in age, because they simply just can't catch as many innings as they once were able to do. We have seen a dip in offensive production by JT Realmuto last year and this year as well. He has had some hot stretches for the Phillies this year in 2025, but still a dip in production for what we were accustomed to seeing from the Phillies star catcher. He had dealt with injuries last year, some injuries here and there in 2025 as well. He started very, very slow at the plate this year. He had a .222 batting average through May, and then he did heat up in June. He had a .293 batting average. July, he was very hot for the Phillies. They had a .354 batting average in the month of July, but he's back down, cooled off a little bit through the first couple games of August. He is batting .222 in 18 at-bats so far this month. However, he is on a 2-game hit streak entering Friday's action here against the Texas Rangers, so maybe that's a sign of good things to come and get back to where he was in the months of June and July, where he was scorching hot for the Phillies. Overall, he's batting .267 this year, so he did get his average up. He's with a .319 on-base percentage, .387 slugging, .706 OPS. He does have 20 doubles, just 7 home runs, 39 RBIs. Offensive production, again, a little bit of a dip from what we used to see out of JT Realmuto as he's getting older, but he's still an elite and an above-average defender behind the plate. As I said, though, very hard for these catchers to stay behind the plate as they're getting older. He may transition to first base, to designated hitter. We've already seen him play first base sometimes the past couple years. So that's something to keep an eye on, too, when you're trying to decide whether to give him a new contract or not, as he's going to be 35 years old to start the 2026 season. The Phillies did trade one of their top prospects and their top catching prospect, Eduardo Tate, to acquire Jhoan Duran at the trade deadline. So he's now out of the picture as a potential replacement for JT Realmuto in the future. Their next top catching prospect is Alvarado. He's 19 years old. He's the Phillies' number 23 prospect per MLB Pipeline. Caleb Ricketts, he's 25 years old. He's their number 26 prospect. And then Caden Hediger, he's 21 years old, the Phillies' number 28 prospect. He catches. He also plays first base. So not really a top catching prospect in the Phillies organization. Some young guys there like Farabus, 19. Maybe he's got a future. Who knows? Still too hard to tell because he's playing down at the lower levels and still very young and still developing. They also have Garrett Stubbs. However, he's 32 years old. He does have one more year of club control, batting .274 in AAA in 2025. But at the major league level, very low numbers for Garrett Stubbs at the plate. From an offensive standpoint, he's a career .215 hitter at the major league level between the Phillies and the Houston Astros. We all have seen him not be able to produce offensively at the major league level. So he's really not an option for the Phillies as a starting option. They also have Rafael Marchand, who's JT Realmuto's backup this year in 2025. He's 26. He has 3 more years of club control, so he could be the immediate replacement for JT Realmuto if they don't re-sign him this offseason. He did have a very good season last year for the Phillies. Very small sample size. He batted .294 in 17 games with the Phillies last year. While Realmuto was out with injury, it was a platoon between him and Stubbs at the time. However, this year, he's batting just .186 with only 3 extra base hits and 6 RBIs in 2025. He does not play a lot because JT Realmuto plays pretty much every day for the Phillies. Marchand only has 70 at-bats here in 2025. So again, not playing every day. It's very tough to get in a groove offensively. As I said, still very young, 26 years old, still 3 more years of club control. Very good defender as well. So maybe he could prove himself as a full-time starter if the Phillies don't re-sign JT Realmuto this offseason. It is always easy to find a catcher, though. You can always find a veteran guy, bring him in, have him as your starter, have Marchand as the backup or platooning with that guy. But still, something to keep an eye on as JT Realmuto is in his final 2 months of his contract with the Phillies. And this era of Phillies baseball and JT Realmuto could be coming to a close. In my opinion, I think they should let him walk. I'm not giving him a new contract. 35 years old, declining production offensively. Some team out there is going to be willing to give Realmuto a pretty large contract here, and it definitely shouldn't be the Phillies, in my opinion. Thank you guys for watching this episode of Phillies Daily. I hope you guys enjoyed. Make sure you guys like, comment, share, and subscribe for more Phillies content right here on Phillies Daily. 3-game road series starting tonight against the Texas Rangers, the start of a 10-game road trip. Christopher Sanchez on the mound. Hopefully the Phillies can pick up the win to start this series off on the right foot. Again, thank you guys for watching, and as always, go Phils.